the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day on a terrific Tuesday evening. There we go. Off to a great start. Scott Wetzel and Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and, of course, betting the world of sports. Black Monday turns into Black Tuesday in Baltimore in the NFL. That aside, we got a great college basketball slate, really good NHL slate as well, some NBA games to bet on over the next couple of hours, preview some of the college football games coming up. What a great college football game, in case you missed it last night. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, for sure. And a little NFL preview as well. So a lot to get to. First up, though, before we do anything else, it is game time. What's betting you off tonight, Gabe?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, we've got a big-time week of football coming up with the college football playoffs, NFL playoffs, and now Harbaugh is available on the market. And it's amazing how things have played out. Imagine if Michigan still didn't have a coach right now. Right? Imagine if Whittingham wasn't the coach and he didn't step aside from Utah because Harbaugh's name came up immediately as far as Michigan was concerned to begin with. Now, I thought it was preposterous, and there's going to be a lot of preposterous takes out there over the next couple of weeks as far as draft picks are concerned and coaches. And I think one of the stupidest takes out there is the teams want to meet Kevin Stefanski. Why? Like, what has he done? Like, oh, yeah, he's a hot candidate. I'll tell you what, I guarantee you that all these media jackals that tell you about how good Stefanski is, I bet you money they're the same agent. All right, I'm going to shatter a little something that goes on in the TV industry. A lot of the heavyweights on the major networks share the same agents as the managers and players do, etc., coaches, college football. Jimmy Sexton runs everything. So you can almost know a coach that's getting ripped. I guess Mina Kimes doesn't have the same agent as Stefanski. It's one of those type of deals. They'll handpick who they attack who's like, in out of his league and who's a great coach. And the media has really pushed Stefanski down our throat the last couple of days about how good he is. Harbaugh actually is good. Baltimore was a unique situation. It's the end of the line. You know what? You can't stay there forever. Harbaugh's phone is already lighting up, and my hot take is Harbaugh will be the next coach of the New York Football Giants. Harbaugh to the Giants. It writes itself, Wetzel.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. It is funny you mentioned that about Stefanski. So on the back page of the Daily Rag, as we all like to call it here in New York, Daily News, Stefanski and Jackson Dart, perfect combination. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Well, what quarterback did he elevate with the Cleveland Browns? The one quarterback he had, he ran out of town, and Baker Mayfield. He's done
he
nothing
ran
with
Baker
the Browns
Mayfield out of town.
quarterback.
Deshaun Watson was good until he got to Cleveland. Like, we can go down the list.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really recall you doing anything. Like, you know?
Yeah. So, but that's it. The agents run the roost. You know, you tell one agent.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
one
Scott.
client
The other
and
time
help out
Stefanski
the
was
other.
good with a 49-year-old Joe Flacco for a month. It's like, that wasn't you either. That wasn't
exactly.
you. And you held back Shedeur Sanders, who was clearly better than all the clowns that you had. So we could go on and on, but let's get to some picks.
Yeah. Opening pickoff time. I'll start with college basketball. These games start right away when their 8 o'clock Eastern time starts. So I'll start there. I'm going to go under 132.5. Excuse me, Iowa and Minnesota. Iowa's turned into an under team. They've actually gone over quite a bit, but they're not the Iowa with the McCaffrey running up and down the court. Minnesota definitely slows the ball down. Both have nice under trends. 5-0 under Iowa, 7-0 under Minnesota at home where the game is. So give me the under 132.5 Iowa against Minnesota.
Well, you know what? One nice thing about tonight compared to last night, we had, Alabama A&M's of the world.
Okay, we had a little technical issue with the game apparently, so we'll go back to the game. So let me run down my opening 4, and then we'll flip over to game. Next one for me will be in the NBA, Miami getting 3.5 against Minnesota. I liked it a lot better this afternoon when it was 5.5, and then it went to 4.5, and now it went down to 3.5. That's kind of weird, but I'll take Miami getting to 3.5 at Minnesota. I'll grab Vegas, pick them against Winnipeg in hockey, and then I'll take the over 174.5 Central Florida at Oklahoma State. 2 strong over teams. I think we got Gabe back. Gabe, go follow up there with your 4 opening pickoffs.
Yeah, unlike last night. Last night we had some real DGen specials, right, with Alabama A&M and the Southern
issues. Can't hear you,
of the world. So are we good? So evidently. Scott, can you hear me, Scott? Because everybody else can.
I can hear you now.
All right, yes. So I think you're the one with the problem, actually. So we got to rocky start to the show today. Little technical issues here, but as I was saying, last night there was a bunch of DGen games. Tonight we got high-profile games, but I couldn't help myself from going back to the DGen tonight, even though I do have action on this Michigan game. But let's go with we got George Washington and Dayton playing tonight, guys. Actually, a pretty fun game. 2 11-4 basketball teams. This is where history comes into play here. I'm not a fan of some trends, but when you come to college basketball, it's not really a trend. It's just sort of a fact that George Washington doesn't win in Dayton. And in fact, they haven't won in 21 years. All right? Like, literally. You have to go back to 2005, the last time George Washington won in Dayton. All right? They've lost 11 straight. They don't play there every year. It sort of alternates, etc. So, this is quite a run. Plus, Dayton at home, dominant basketball team, 8-1 on their home court. So we're going to go with Dayton on the money line here. Fun game, though, tonight, guys, with UCF and Oklahoma State. UCF coming off that big win against Kansas. I think this is kind of a flat spot after that massive win against the Jayhawks. Plus, this is pretty wild. UCF have only played 1 road game so far this year. Like, literally, they played 1 road game so far. Now you're going into Stillwater against a very good Oklahoma State team that's one of the highest scoring teams in the country. All right, these guys drop 91 points a game on you. They give up 82, but they're going to score on you. That's why the total is as high as it is. So, when it was all said and done, I did say, it's a high number, but it's high for a reason. I think Oklahoma State are going to be able to set the tempo on their home court. And here's a real DGen special. And I got to be honest with you. Even after I clicked this, I was like, I must have a problem. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I playing this game? But give me Lindenwood. Give me Lindenwood.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, against SIU Edwardsville, Scott. Lindenwood, 10-5 on the season. They've won 8 of their last 9 basketball games, but it's a little bit deceptive they're 10-5 on the season. 3 of their 5 losses are against Texas Tech, Indiana, and a St. Louis Billiken team, Scott, who are kind of flying under the radar that we don't talk about enough, who are 13-1, right? The Billikens are rolling.
Wow.
Like, so they've had a very tough non-conference schedule. It's a good basketball team, Lindenwood. Give me Lindenwood on the money line.
There you go. It's not even SIU, my Salukis that I went to. It's SIU Edwardsville, which is like the secondary school. But they are in a
down
major
the street.
conference. Yeah, so it's up the street. It's somewhere, but it's not quite the Salukis. So that's pretty good. I'll tell you what, there's another team, Gabe. You know, if you ask most college basketball fans, give me the teams that are undefeated. They might be able to
I know where you're going with this.
How about Miami of Ohio? I never, I looked it up. We were running a pool on the website, and I said, "Oh my God, Miami of Ohio is still undefeated, 15-0." So playing a close game tonight.
I'm not going to lie to you. I saw the logo. I saw a list of logos, no names, and it just said the remaining undefeated teams. And I'm looking, and I was like, Maryland's not undefeated. And I'm like, who's M? I'm sort of looking, and I'm like, you don't think of Miami, Ohio? You know what I mean? I'm like. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, son of a bitch, it really is. It's Miami of Ohio. Yeah, like it is.
15-0. How about that? All right, more coming up.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel, at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze, he's got you got DJ Moore, you got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Just underway. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Just to recap our opening pickoff plays, I got the under 132.5 Iowa, Minnesota. I like the Miami Heat getting only 3.5. That line's been dropping all day against Minnesota in the NBA. I'll take Vegas, pick them at Winnipeg. Two struggling teams, but Winnipeg's losing streak at 9 is a little bit longer than Vegas's. And Vegas has owned Winnipeg over the years for whatever reason. And I'm going to grab that over, that 174.5 monster number. But as Gabe was mentioning, it should be a fun game. Back and forth they go. Oklahoma State and Central Florida, the over 174.5, Gabe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dayton to beat George Washington. I'm not in love with these money line plays, but it is what it is. I don't want to lay the 3. It should be close, but George Washington haven't won since 2005 at Dayton. All right, so Oklahoma State. I think it's kind of a flat spot for UCF coming off the big win against Kansas. Now they're going on the road. Oklahoma State are a lethal team offensively and a damn good team with quality wins. They beat I think they Texas Tech earlier in the year. So you got UCF and Oklahoma State, as Scott just talked about. This game should be a track meet. Oklahoma State scored 91. They give up 82. Let's do the math, add it up. And it's at home, so the home team normally dictates the tempo a little bit more. And the degenerate special, Lindenwood, to beat SIU Edwardsville, -115. Don't be fooled by the 10-5 record. 3 of their losses were in like the first 4 games, and they played against Texas Tech, Indiana, and the Billiken team, who's really good this year. So I think Lindenwood's actually good, and I know this because I bet against Lindenwood a couple of times, and I'm like, who the hell are these guys, and why don't they go away? And they're a scrappy team. I expect them to win this basketball game. Scott, I don't think SIU Edwardsville, it's not like playing in Cameron indoors, bro. Like, as far as the home court advantage. Like, how many people are there? So. 1,400, 1,200? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is, you know?
That's the thing about these smaller conferences, right? The line swings for being home and away are just the same as they are for Big Ten SEC games, where you're getting 10, 15, even more 1,000 fans. And meanwhile, you're getting
It's funny.
1,000, 1,500 fans in the stand.
And this really being in Jersey. Being in Jersey, like people bet these line games and stuff, right? And I was in LA for a long time, Scott, and like the first time I saw some of I was like, man, this is UC Riverside. I can't believe we've been betting big money on this stuff. Like, you see the campus and the school, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, wow. Like, you find out, oh man, that's Fairfield, huh? Like, yeah, because you sort of know them, like you said, like from these, from betting on sports and stuff, but you never really realize, like, yeah, we're kind of degens guys. And a lot of these teams are playing in high school gyms. Like, the Allen Gym in Burlington, Vermont. It's a nice place, old historic place, Scott, but it's literally like a high school gym. It's got the wooden stands, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a high school gym. I mean, you might squeeze 3,800, 3,500 people in there or something. You want to stack them up. It's one of those type of deals. But, yeah, it's funny as you talk. But some of those venues are, like, loud and hard to play in. But, SIU Edwardsville is not one of them. Like, Vermont, that field house is actually a tough place to play.
Yeah. So I've been to a couple of those small little places. I haven't been to either one of those. Like BU, I've been to Boston College, Boston College and Boston University. That's kind of a smaller place too. But if it's compact, and if the stands don't go out versus if they go up a little bit, then you kind of get that you're in a pit there, and it makes it a little bit tougher. So, Dookie Pukey, speaking of college basketball, trailing.
Not what it used to be.
Today,
only by 4, though. They were down by 9 at the half. I'm on Duke in this game, only +1. I didn't jump in game here, but I wanted to. I'm glad you brought it up. I think Duke come back. They were down 9 at the half. They didn't play well. Everybody kind of stood around watching Boozer. Nobody really moved without the ball very much. Yeah. Louisville without their best player tonight. I get it. It's on the road, but Duke should be able to win this game. Like I said, they were down 9 at the half. Now they're down 6 after a couple of free throws here, but we just hit the 100-point mark, Scott, with 16 left in the basketball game, and we just hit 100 points. And Louisville already have 3 fouls. So, there should be a lot of points in this game, actually. Like, I'm looking at the in-game over here.
172.5.
Duke are such an under team, though, points. As you know, right? Duke, don't play overs. They're an under team. They're one of the best under teams in the country.
And this is kind of like a classic. There's a lot of time left, but this is one of those. I get a sense neither team's going to quit, and if they're down 7, 8, 9, you're going to get a ton of free points in the end. I could see this one going over just because of those free points, and there's nothing more aggravating. Team is down 10, and with the 30 seconds left, and they're fouling, and they're hitting their free throws, and then they're coming down and fouling, and the game's going to go over because of that. I get the sense this one might be that, even at 172.5. So
I just got Duke at +2.5.
A big 3.
And I got over 172.5. Yeah, you know what? It was 3.5 when I clicked it, and it moved because now they're on the free throw line. But I know we got some Harbaugh poly market, Kalshi predictive market stuff, but we almost got to get to the news of the day, Scott. Like, remember yesterday we talked about the anonymous bettor and the mainstream media caught on to it that anonymously, basically 20 minutes before it all went down, somebody made $430,000 by wagering would Maduro be removed. That was at Kalshi, and Kalshi paid out. Polymarket is not paying out people that traded that will Venezuela be invaded by the United States. Yeah. Polymarket is claiming it wasn't an invasion. I don't know about you, Scott, but if you march into the presidential palace and rip the president and his wife out of a bed, I call that an invasion, don't you? Don't you?
Yeah, well, what's an invasion, you know? It's funny.
Yeah.
We were talking about this yesterday, Gabe. That bet was still up there yesterday, but I've noticed on Polymarket, the lead bet's up. Yeah, but you know what? And I didn't click it, but I was going to say, I've noticed there have been bets that have been left up there. Then you click it, and then you realize, okay,
no, but their definition, I guess, is what? Like boots on the ground? Like, I don't know. There were boots on the ground. You took them.
I mean,
like, dude, if I bet on this, Scott, if I bet on this, I'm not a happy camper. And trust me, there's thousands of people freaking out right now today about this online right now.
Yeah. I mean, what would they classify as an invasion? We talked about this, the kind of the nuances. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, just beware. Really, like, dig into the fine print. Except it's very convenient. There isn't a lot of fine print on their wages.
Yeah. We'll talk more about it when we come back to Game Live.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got a Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Just going over our parlay market, Kalshi plays and thoughts. So, big one is John Harbaugh being fired. I'm not necessarily shocked at the move, a little surprised, but there was been speculation over the last couple of weeks that this might be it for him. And now they actually got him as one of the leading candidates for the New York Giants. You mentioned a game as well. You thought he was going to go to the New York Giants. Poly Market, or Kalshi actually has it up there as he's the odds-on favorite. What do you think? Is he going to be a New York Giant head coach?
I love it. I was looking, and let's give credit to them, actually. We talked about this in the past. Kalshi seems to be a little bit more sports-centered, right? You know what I mean? If you'll notice, they got a lot of partnerships with the sports leagues. They're very sports-centered. Polymarket seems to be more sort of global and geopolitics and type stuff. So props to Kalshi for bet, because I was looking at sports books right away. Because I said, yeah, Giants. And I was like, I want to put my money where my mouth is on this. I say yes, Scott. I think that, the Maras like credibility, right? They like credibility. They want credibility. They probably, if Belichick was a couple of years younger, they would have went that route. Who did we hear? Who's always been the hot candidate for the Giants over the last couple of months here, like sort of moving forward behind the scenes? Mike McCarthy. Credibility, right? Guy's been around, credibility. But to me, I think Harbaugh, I think they're going to pounce. And I'm not dismissing the Atlanta Falcons for Harbaugh. Those are my two choices, Scott. So right now at Kalshi, let's see, $100. $100 gets you back $167 that Harbaugh is the next Giants coach.
So not even money. That's amazing.
It's like minus 130 or so.
I could see it, though. I could see. You know why, Gabe? Also, the last, 3-4 head coaches, they've gone the first-year guy, and it hasn't worked out. The last time they had success is with Tom Coughlin, the veteran head coach. And obviously years before that. But then they've tried that, like, young, up-and-coming guy.
Yeah, they're not hiring Cliff Kingsbury, Scott. You know what I mean? Like, they're not hiring, like, some young coordinator. Like, I think they want a guy that's done it before. They want a guy that the media can't laugh at, right? They want credibility, like, somehow. Like, and he can build a program for them. As far as Atlanta, I'm looking at Kalshi right now. So Harbaugh pays nicely for Atlanta. Let's see. So, $100 that Harbaugh is the next Atlanta Falcon coach, pays back $770 at Kalshi right now.
Do they list Miami at all? Although I think McDaniel's coming back, but I can't help but think
he
Miami
is coming back.
Office is like, boy, I wish we would have known that.
Funny, and being a Michigan guy I am, Scott, I'll tell you, Stephen Ross, I'm sure you know, is a Michigan guy. Right? He's one of Michigan's biggest boosters. And what's insane, guys, he didn't hire Harbaugh. Harbaugh told him, I'm coming to the NFL. And he told him, I don't want to be the guy to steal you from Michigan, Scott. You could have had Harbaugh, and Ross didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Harbaugh
told him,
Ross told him, go to Michigan and win a championship. I'd rather you go to Michigan and take my Dolphins over. Pretty wild. So a lot of people are doing the math and sort of, all right, well, it's another Harbaugh. They're all tight. They're all whatever. So it's another Harbaugh with Ross. But I think McDaniel is back. But I think a fascinating story, and let's see if Kalshi has this. What if the new coach of the Baltimore Ravens doesn't want Lamar Jackson?
I don't know if
he's not my type of quarterback. Yeah, do you have to accept it and say, I don't think the owner, but Lamar's not great, bro. They'd actually be smart to reset. So I'm just throwing it out there that who's the next quarterback of the Miami Dolphins? Lamar Jackson? Kyler Murray? Won't be Tua.
He's from Miami. He is from Miami. And, if you think about it, Gabe, if you think about it, like, would you really bring in, like, he works so well, at least on the surface anyway, with Harbaugh? It's like, why would you split that up unless you were just going to blow the whole thing up and trade, Lamar and just, as you said, just start from scratch, bring a new head coach in versus bringing in another head coach to work with Lamar, who seemingly works so well with Harbaugh. I don't know what you'd be getting. Are you telling me you're not getting
sort of
everything
thing is Kingsbury. Kingsbury and the Commanders split up.
Yeah.
Fired, whatever, and all this. But there is a buzz that Baltimore wants to speak to Kingsbury. And the thought is that Kingsbury and Lamar Jackson, like, he could help Lamar Jackson into this offense. I don't think it's the coaching so much, Scott. I think it's the talent. Like, you got Derrick Henry, you got Zay Flowers. Like, you need better talent on offense, guys. It's not really the coach.
Yeah. You know what? He really got a raw deal in Washington. His quarterback was certainty for you. I will say that.
Yeah. They throw him on the bus after this year. Jaden Daniels didn't play. Like, what do you want from me?
Weird.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. Unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp and you may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. It is a Tuesday. Time to talk a little college basketball, a little NBA with the coach, Mr. James Young. What's going on, Coach? How are you on this Tuesday evening?
Good to talk to you, Scotty. Some Tuesday night hoops, some interesting basketball here. Duke obviously down big in the first half, making a run. St. John's making a run as well. So we got some good college basketball tonight. We got a couple of ranked versus ranked matchups later on in the Big 12.
All right, let's start with the Dookie Pukies. Down big, double digits first half. They hit a big three to close out the first half, cut it to 9, and now looking, they're only down 1, 53-52 with 13 and a half minutes left at Louisville. Who'd you like in this game, and where would you go now?
I would take Duke on the money line. I took Duke on the money line before the game. They were 2.5-point favorites. My big thing in it, Scotty, is you look at Duke playing 5 games versus teams in the Ken Palm top 50, 2 for obviously Louisville. Those 2 games, Kentucky team overrated, and the reason why the Ken Palm is so high is because they played so many good teams. And Indiana, a team that I think is playing well, but hasn't really been tested if you look at who they've played. So because of that, and because of Duke has not been playing well as of late, Georgia Tech type games, so on and so forth, I figured that Duke would find a way to steal it at the end. So I took Duke on the money line.
I thought they were going to come back too, Coach. They were down 9 at the half. I jumped in on them. I don't want to live in the now too much, especially we got some big games coming up. But just for the record, Michigan are almost into load management now, right? It is what it is. They got a big week coming up, but they sort of took, you know what I mean? They don't have their full roster tonight, and they were still laying 22.5. They're up by 13 now, but big games coming up, Coach, with Texas Tech and Houston and TCU and Kansas. Kansas, guys, have not started 0-2 in conference play since 1990-91, Coach. Yeah, that's amazing. That's a long time. That's what, 36 years, man. 36. They ain't losing tonight. But they're 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah, it's 1992. So, by the way, my second cousin, Adonis Jordan, was the point guard on that team for a coach name. You would know him as Roy Williams, was the head coach at Kansas.
I was going to say, the last time this happened, I think Danny Manning was on the team.
That was a couple of years earlier with Danny in America.
That was in the late 80s. Yeah, that was earlier, like 88, I think, or whatever. Yeah. But all kidding aside, What do you think of this game? And then we got the big Texas Tech Houston game in the Big 12 too.
Yeah, I like the Kansas minus a point. I just thought, listen, they weren't going to go 0-2. Coach Gates does a really good job at Missouri. That's a tough place to play in Columbia. I expected them to bounce back. So I laid the 6.5, especially know what Peterson being on it. Lineup. In regards to that game right there, Texas Tech and Houston, Houston has not been what we've seen defensively. And I think Juwan Roberts graduating has really taken a lot out of that team. That being said, really good matchup, two good teams, two good coaches. I'm going with 143 now. It's down to 142.5. I'm taking the under in this game. I think this is going to be a dogfight in a Big 12 conference where you could say that Houston can get to a Final Four, Texas Tech can get to a Final Four, BYU can get to a Final Four.
Is it +8 tempting then, guys?
What?
Scott, in a game that's probably not going to be a track meet, and like you said, Coach, Houston games are a little higher scoring now, but the spread has gone up. So unless I'm missing something with a late scratch with Texas Tech, for me, it's hard not to like the +8 here, Coach. A lot of points.
It's a lot of points, and then that's the thing. The only way Texas Tech, doesn't cover this game is if they get their doors blown off. Now, could that happen? Possibly, but I don't think they're there yet offensively. This is a Houston team, guys. Think about this. They were usually the number 1 team defensively. Now, as bad as people are saying they are, they're still number 8 in defensive efficiency, adjusted defensive efficiency, according to KenPom. When you go to offense, here's where it's funny with Houston. They're 21st. Why are they so much better offensively? 2 words, Kingston Flemings. I don't think people realize how you can talk about Marcus Sasser, you can talk about Sharp, you can talk about Jamal Shed, Milos Uzon. The best offensive guard that Calvin Sampson has had is Kingston Flemings. And this guy is playing himself, guys, into a top 5 pick in this year's NBA draft.
How about Shed becoming an NBA starter? Just throw that in there quickly. He's won the job with the Raptors. They really trust him. The coach likes him.
Hey, Scotty, you know that there wasn't going to be a Raptors as soon as I brought up
Yeah.
Well, Shed, you brought him up. I couldn't help it.
When is he going to be?
Well, I couldn't help. I was waiting after the college. I was going to ask you about Trae Young, where he was going to end up, because he was trying to get Barnes to get him on the Raptors the other day. He's like, you guys look pretty fine, man. I wouldn't mind joining you. And Barnes was like, yeah, we'll see what happens, huh? He was sort of like he wasn't like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. Like, how do you say no to a guy's face? But, no, I had to bring the Shed stuff up. But, yeah, I like the +8 with Texas Tech tonight, guys.
Yeah, I think.
How about Trae Young, Coach? Listen, you got Milwaukee with Giannis and Trae Young with Atlanta. I mean, I'm sure you'd have to kind of dazzle it up a little bit more. But are we going to start there as far as where these two guys might wind up?
Milwaukee won't do that. So,
Giannis ain't getting traded in this season.
Trae Young is such a problem. He doesn't defend. He takes poor quality shots, and he's often injured. And if you look at this,
and he makes a lot of money. There's a lot of cuts. They're quite the combo.
They kept changing the deck. They went from Lloyd Pierce to Nate McMillan to Quinn Snyder. They had, Bogdanovich, got rid of him. Got Jamal Murray, got rid of him. I mean, not Jamal Murray, got DeJounte Murray. Got him, got rid of him. Drafted DeAndre Hunter, got rid of him. Had Capella, got rid of him. Had Collins, got rid of him. Everybody gets moved. And then all of a sudden this year, he gets hurt. You put Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the 2, slide Dyson Daniels to the 3, or to the 1, and then obviously you have Ricochet and Jalen Johnson, who's played himself into an all-star, getting you triple doubles, I think 4 straight games. And then Okongwu, who took a major leap in the playoffs last year. You're looking at Atlanta, and you're saying, we don't need him. We don't need him. So now this is where you have to sell low. That's why you're hearing names like, honestly, C.J. McCollum, in a salary dump, because he's a.
We all know what team he's going to end up on, guys. And Kalshi has it as the favorite right now. No good team's going to want him. The Washington Wizards are the favorite, 53% chance. The Washington Wizards.
Here is the crazy thing. I want you to think about this. Trae Young's contract is so bad that Atlanta will say, give us C.J. McCollum, but we want a draft pick from you to take Trae off your hands. That tells you how far Trae Young has fallen from that run in 2021 when he got hurt, right? Remember he got hurt, and they could have won that series versus Milwaukee.
He plays well at the Garden.
Yeah, well,
I'll tell you that.
Maybe
the Knicks should get him. It's the one arena he really kills it in all the time.
You see, you sound just like Joe Ranieri. You're trying to rage bait me into getting Trae Young.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to sabotage the Knicks.
No.
How about this, Coach? How about this? Listen, let's make one last final gasp. Golden State Warriors.
For who?
For Trae Young.
They got
Trae
Steph
Young
Curry
who?
already.
You can't play two small guards like that. I mean, if you thought Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell at 2 6'1" guards are bad defensively, try putting Trae next to Steph. I mean, listen, you two can get to the basket on those two.
I want to see Trae with Luka. I'll take the opposing point. Yeah, I know. Like they're actually the same. And Luka's a more glamorous. He's a more glamorous Trae, Coach. I'm telling you, Luka's not. He's a stat guy. He's not a winner guy.
Well, listen, he's got a chance to win now because the Lakers are actually, I think I like them tonight. But when you really think about it, there are not a lot of winning guys in the NBA. But Trae, he ain't one of them.
The Lakers ain't winning anything, Coach. Come on.
Coach, good job as always, man. Appreciate it.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp and you may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also say healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze, he's got you got DJ Moore, you got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Thanks again to the coach for joining us. Didn't get a chance to ask his NBA plays, but he had two props for us tonight. Dallas forward Daniel Gafford over 8.5 points, and then he liked Luka over 8.5 assists for the Lakers game, which should be a track meet with the New Orleans Pelicans. How about, by the way, that over? There you see over 8.5 points or assists rather for Luka. That over last night, Gabe hit that 242 Portland, Utah. I mean, I know it's hard to say, give me the over.
Oh, it sailed over.
240, but it was sailed by it. What do you mean close?
Yeah, it did. It had sailed. It got into the 250s. The game.
Yeah.
Listen, Utah. This is what they do. They really are. Are they the best over team in the NBA? I think they are. Right, they're right up there. We'll get the exact number right now, the updated numbers. But yeah, it sounds crazy, but Utah kind of just is like a blind over bet, as crazy as it sounds. 22-13 now. The top total is actually Denver, 24-12, technically 66.7%. The Lakers 21-12 to the over, 63.6%. Utah 22-13 now. New York Knicks, actually, which you wouldn't think about. The Knicks are 21-16 to the over. Biggest under team in the NBA by there's a few of them, but the Raptors. And because the Raptors are so good defensively, like the Raptors just terrorize you defensively. And they're 23-14 to the under on the season, 37.7%. And speaking of which, there's a game tonight, Scott. I like this late night stuff, especially on the West Coast. It's pretty wild, that NBC starts a game on national television at 11 o'clock. But we got a nationally televised NBC game tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern with the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings tonight. And I don't think it gets there, actually. Like, Sacramento's offense kind of sucks. Dallas are good defensively. So I don't like playing a lot of unders, but, guys, Sacramento 20-16 to the under on the season. And Dallas are a very good defensive team when they have the big men on the floor. And Dallas are also 20-16 to the under, Scott. It's 232.5 right now. It was 233 or so. I'm going to go under in that game later tonight.
Yeah. I tell you, I didn't think Sacramento would be this bad this year. But, man, they're bad. They were getting blown out by 20, 30 points like it was nobody's business at the beginning of the year. They won a couple of games, but they've been basically just awful. 7, 8 wins, whatever it is on the season.
If we had a debate about who the worst organization of professional sports is, they're in the conversation. Like if you think, like, all right, who's the worst run team? Let's go to the leagues here. NBA. The Hornets are showing signs of life. The kid is draining threes. Bridges is good. Like, they're bad, but they're not like the Utah Jazz are kind of a train wreck. But at least the Utah Jazz have Danny Ainge and a real owner. And you know what I mean? Their problem is they play in a white city in a black league. Like, you know what I mean? So no one's going to side with them. Yeah, let's just call it like, no one wants to play for you. So they get drafted, and when they can get the hell out of there, they're going to get the hell out of there. So you got to find a bunch of Finnish kids like Lauri Markkanen and whatever that like snow, right? And like, oh, okay, this is all right. I don't mind this place, but just like think about it from like their ownership. Remember they had that little brief run with Weber and Vladdy and stuff, and they got screwed over by the NBA. And the Maloof brothers own the team, right? And they were flashy, two brothers. They owned the Palms Hotel in Vegas and casino, and they had reality TV shows and stuff. But they ran out of money. They lived a little bit richer than they actually were, and it kind of blew up on them a little bit. But since then, bro, it's been a train wreck. Like they got some dude from India or something that owns the team. He's like, Scott, they fire coaches all the time. Like, they'll have a winning season, and they'll fire the GM. Like, they're in a constant state of rebuild. Nobody wants to play for them. Like, they're never on TV. So you look, they have, like, a bunch of Trae Youngs. Like, it's like the league of malcontents, like the DeMar DeRozans, the Russell Westbrooks, the Levines of the world, like all guys that can give you 28, 27 points and are good players on a certain team, but none of them really play defense, and you put them all together and you get the Sacramento Kings, Scott. And Sabonis has been hurt, and they're going to trade him. I want the Raptors to get him, actually. He'd be a good Raptor.
You look at their roster, it's like Wall Street. It's worth more apart than it is together. You got NBA good players. Levine, DeRozan.
Each guy on its own is good. Yeah, it's like, hey, you can get something for this guy. Like, what playoff team right now couldn't use DeMar DeRozan? Good player. He's not a bad guy. He's going to, what you're going to get from him. He's going to give you 22 to 25 points. Right?
And Sabonis is a triple-double waiting to happen.
He's a stud. Player. He's going to be a hot commodity at the deadline. He's going to be a hot commodity.
You put these young guys on a winning team where they don't have to be the star. Put them on the Celtics. Put them on OKC. Put them on, pick a team that's pretty good. That's when you'll really see how good these guys can be versus just kind of living in no man's land. So
yeah, but real teams don't want them. Look at DeMar. DeMar was on the Raptors. They won the next year. They got rid of him. It's cold to say, but like they were like, yeah, he scores 26 a night, but it's a lot of ISO ball, and it slows everybody else down. He doesn't play enough defense, and he doesn't pass the ball enough, and it sort of snowballs, right? And you
Sacramento,
get that rep. Look,
and Washington are probably the two worst in the NBA.
Good call. All right, yeah. NFL, is it the Browns?
Jets
sort of
and
the first
Browns.
team I think of. The Jets.
Jets and Browns.
Yeah, the Jets are worse than the Browns. The Jets are worse than the Browns. The Raiders are a clown show, too.
That's saying a lot. But yeah, at least the Browns went to the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah, like the biggest, like just sort of like, I'm talking about not just record, but like ownership, coaching changes, you know what I mean? Drama,
they
messes.
play in New Jersey. I think about they play in New Jersey. They're called New York, and they're still a second-class citizen in New Jersey and New York behind the Giants. You know, so it's just like one goofy thing. Yeah, it's probably the Jets. It probably is, believe it or not.
It's going to be hard to fill that job. That's why there's not a hope in hell Coach Young thinks Harbaugh will be the Jet coach. Like, unless they give him like, I don't know, $20 million a year or something, I guess.
And just complete power game. Just complete. And I don't think they would do that because they kind of did that already. But, that would be the hook. Like, oh, you come in, John, it's your show. You hire whoever you want to hire.
You're the president of the team. President, CEO type thing, and the coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe, though, maybe Lamar comes with them somewhere. Maybe Lamar's like, I want out of here. I'll go to New York and be the Jet quarterback with you.
That's not a bad thought.
Just throwing it out there, right?
Yeah, it's not a bad thought. That's interesting. All right, let's close up hour number one now.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel and Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe closing out hour number one, full hour to go, so don't go anywhere, as we like to say. Big night in the NHL. We haven't touched on too much. Some really good games tonight. Maybe some Stanley Cup final previews as well. Got Dallas, though, getting blown out. Boy, they're hitting a funk here. This would be their sixth straight loss. They trail 5-1 after 2 against Carolina. And then you got Colorado, which was down 1-0. Then they come back and they tied Tampa Bay. They're at 2-2. That's a pretty good game. My Anaheim Mighty Ducks are in the tank. They can't get up here, Gabe. Losing again, 6 straight, and now they're losing 4-1 at Philadelphia. So unless something crazy happens. Although they made a nice little comeback last night at Washington when they were down 5-1, but they came up a little bit short. But down 4-1 again. You know, every team's going to go through it. They seem to be going through this, and hopefully it won't last long if you're a Ducks fan, which I am since I have their over team total. But pretty good slate.
I trust them at home.
Again. 3-0.
I trust them at home.
Not on the road.
Not on the road, the Ducks, and they have hit a wall right now. Yeah, speaking of Stanley Cup previews, the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks. Big-time potential Stanley Cup. Oh, yeah, wait. No, probably not. But listen, Buffalo had a 10-game win streak. They lost a game. Now they're getting back on track here. Vancouver had a nice little spark after the trade for whatever reason, but reality has kicked in, and now there's talk of just like, you know what? Let's trade everybody and get the top pick in the draft right now because it's actually feasible. And teams in Canada, Scott, haven't won the Stanley Cup since 1993, right? Well, the Montreal Canadiens. And one of the, there's, you know, you can argue different reasons why and stuff, but one of the reasons is teams from Canada don't like tanking, Scott. Like, they'll live with the mediocrity because the fan base gets so angry when they're bad. You know what I mean? Like, people get mad. Like, and Canadian hockey fans get mad after games, like an Alabama football fan, except like 40 times a year they get that mad. Like, Leaf fans live in a perpetual state of anger, right? And you got to rebuild in the NHL. The NHL is like the hardest league to get good at. It really is, if you think about it. The NFL, dude, it's proven. There were 7 new division winners this year. 7 out of the 8. Every year in the NFL, guys, is the worst to first story. Every year, you think, nah, it's not going to happen this year. Oh, it happens every year, right? 7 out of the winners, Scott. NBA, bro, 1 or 2 players can flip it. Look at the Spurs. You get Wembanyama, you get Stephen Castle, you get a couple of guys. Next thing you know, you're beating Oklahoma City Thunder, and you're a contender, right? Like, NBA, you can flip it fast. Tim Duncan, Shaq, you've seen it, etc. NFL, same thing. You can flip it. Baseball, you can spend money. Point blank. You can bring in players in baseball. There's no salary caps, a free market. You can sign players. You can get good in baseball if you want to. Hockey, you can't. Look at Macklin Celebrini, Scott. The kid's one of the best players in the world. The Sharks still suck. You know what I mean? Yeah. Connor Bedard can't change the Blackhawks. Hockey, you cannot. You could be Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky played with Mark Messier and Yari Curry and Glenn Anderson, okay? And I can go on. And Paul Coffey, who's one of the, after Bobby Orr, might be the greatest defenseman of all time, offensive defenseman, right? It wasn't just Wayne Gretzky. If Wayne Gretzky didn't have all these stars around him, he would have not have won either, right? Like, hockey is the ultimate. You need like 6 to 8 star players, and then you need like another 12 really good players and a good goalie. It's really hard to rebuild in hockey, Scott. Look at the Montreal Canadiens now. Yeah. This little rebuild has taken years. We're in like year 4 or 5 now of this thing, and they're good, but they're not all the way back. You see how hard it is for bad teams in the NHL that are bad, Scott. They just can't get out of the perpetual badness. Look at the Islanders. They're trying to scratch out of it now, barely. You know what I mean?
Think about it. I mean, if that's...
And it took Eddie Matthew Schaefer, Scott, the #1 pick. Yeah. That's what it took. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. And think about the logic of it, right? The baseball player is playing the whole game. The football player is playing half the game if you're on offense and half on defense.
Yeah.
Okay. The basketball
most of the time.
In the whole game, right? The hockey player, game, he plays a third of the game.
13 minutes.
20 minutes. You know, the star player.
A forward, Scott. A star forward could play 13 to 16 minutes. Defenseman, 20 minutes. Yeah, like a defenseman will play 20. They don't a third of the game,
Yeah, they played a third of the game. So you can be the greatest thing in the world, but the other two,
if you don't have 4 lines, like the winning teams have 4 lines. Bad teams have 1 line. Like the Blackhawks have like 1.5 lines now. You know what I mean? Like the Florida Panthers have 4 good lines. 4. Like there's really different levels to this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we got 2 guys that are really good and they score 30 goals each. Yeah, good for you. The rest of your team sucks and you're soft, so you'll never win.
Your goaltending is awful.
It's true.
You're losing it 64. Congratulations.
Well, look at Carolina. They can't get over the top, and they're really good. They can't get over the top.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel, at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October, unless they get a really good veteran quarterback. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and you may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league?
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got a Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Time for our late night pickup. Scott and Gabe until 10 p.m. Eastern time. This is where we rattle off some of the late games and our initial thoughts on these. So I'll start it off. And we were talking hockey to close out hour number 1. I'll take Edmonton minus the 150 against Nashville. I know Nashville's actually playing pretty well, late 6-2 their last 8. But Edmonton is, after an early funk, they're not playing great hockey, but they're playing well enough where I get them at home minus 150 against Nashville. I'll take my chances. Let's go Oilers minus the 150, Gabe.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to double up on that. And this is kind of a price bet in which I looked at the numbers today in the NHL, and I actually bet a lot of first period overs today in the early games. But looking at this, Scott, so we're getting plus 160. Plus 160 for the Edmonton Oilers to win this game by 1.5. And if you look at the history between these two teams, the Oilers, they played a 1-goal game recently, but for the most part, the Oilers, there haven't been 1-goal games. So I'm getting plus 160 for an Oiler team coming off of 2 losses. And I don't know, we'll get to the picks and stuff, but I wanted to get the numbers up, Scott. Both Draisaitl and McDavid light Nashville up, like for you prop players out there. You know, whatever. McDavid kind of lights these two guys kind of light everybody up. They are who they are, but they specifically have really, really good numbers against Nashville as well. So at that's just such a great price, Scott. Plus 160. Give me that empty netter. Hopefully Edmonton can get it. It's kind of all or nothing with them, right? When they win, they kind of explode for like a 3-0, 4-0 lead in the first period. And you're like, we got the good Edmonton tonight. Or it's the sweat job. I can't believe I thought they were going to win and they didn't. Edmonton don't win games they're supposed to. Remember I warned Kurtz last week with that Bruin night. They said, It doesn't really feel like their night tonight. Like it's one of those, but they're coming off of 2 losses, Scott, so they should be in a bad mood tonight.
Yeah. And look at that stat, 13-2 against the Nashville. You know, that's pretty good. Like obviously they've been better than Nashville.
I told you, they own them. Yeah, they own them.
Yeah. So my next one's going to be, I know this has got sucker written all over it, and I am assuming we're going to get the backup goaltender tonight for Seattle, but Seattle is even pick 'em against Boston at home. It just doesn't make any sense. Seattle's playing their best hockey by far this season. They're 7-1 their last 8. Boston is 2-6 their last 8. They're on this West Coast trip. They're not doing well. They're 3-13 against Pacific Division teams. I mean, it all shouts to the Kraken tonight, and yet they're even, pick 'em, whatever, at home. You know what? Give me Seattle. When this is like 4-1 Boston after 2, I'll say, boys, somebody do something, but I'll still take Seattle, take my chances.
It feels like Boston's been on the road forever. I mean, like, seriously, like they really have been. They've been on the West Coast for a little while now, it seems. Seattle are really playing good hockey. They played last night, right? So you get the quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But Seattle, so you got a back-to-back with them, and they haven't been great in back-to-backs, but they seem to be on a mission. Like, they lost, like, 8 of 9 games. They hit rock bottom. They didn't take questions from the media. It upset the local media. Then the local media kind of turned on them, and fans started calling in talk shows about, I don't know if I'm going to renew my season tickets. This team sucks. And, like, they kind of really responded, like, over the last 2 weeks. They're smoking hot right now, so I can't argue it. So, guys, we got a late-night basketball game tonight. There's a bunch of them, but NBC, 11 o'clock Eastern for the hardcore degenerates. Sacramento gets some primetime love, Scott, tonight. So I guess there's two ways you can look at it. Sacramento on national television, maybe they kind of show up tonight, but I look at it more so of like, the Dallas Mavericks are just a better basketball team than they are. And I'm going to lay the points with the Mavericks. I'm going to take the under in the game. And a smoking hot player right now, guys, for the Mavericks is Max Christie. His prop tonight is 12.5. He's coming off a 24-point performance, 18 the game before, 25 the game before that, 9-13. 4 of the last 5, he's gone over 12.5, Scott. It's all about minutes, and he's playing like basically 30 minutes a game. So he's getting his looks, he's getting his shots, and he's on a roll right now, and it's 12.5 against the Sacramento team that doesn't guard anybody. So I said I like the under of the game, but I like our boy Max Christie to go over the number.
All right. I'll switch over to college basketball, a game we talked about. Given the under 142.5 Texas Tech and Houston, you don't get very many Houston games that are in the 140s. You really don't. And if you think Texas Tech's the high-scoring team and everything like they are, this is
you're
the
bucking
team
the coach.
that
You like the over in this one, right?
He liked the over. Yeah, he did. I don't see it. These are the games that Houston really ratchets up the defense. That they once in a while will beat the snot out of a team and a game will go over. But when they know a team it likes to run and gun, that's when they really go into their mode. They're the home team as well, so they can control tempo a little bit better maybe at home. I don't think it gets to 143 points. I like the under a lot in this one.
I'm going to take Texas Tech. I'm getting 8.5 points right now, right before tip-off with the in-game here right now. And speaking of overs and up-tempo here, we were talking about Auburn being one of the best over teams in the country. Auburn 10-4 to the over, and they're taking on a Texas A&M team that are also 10-4 to the over. This game is kind of flying under the radar, Scott. Total is 168.5, but two teams that just want to run and gun and get after it. The SEC is a run-and-gun conference in basketball. So let's go over a little bonus pick here over Texas A&M and Auburn over 168.5. And you got the Wisconsin UCLA game. You going to play that game?
Yeah. No, I got to pass. Listen, I play under in UCLA, but they don't get under. They did the same thing last year. They're on under at home, and they turned it into an over road team. They just don't play the same defense. So I can't go over in my brain with UCLA, but that's why I stayed away because they're on the road. I will take Colorado State plus 1.5 against New Mexico. Big Mountain West game. Two really good teams. You got to get Colorado State is get a load of this number 16-4, not straight up, but how about against the spread? Their last 20 games. I never heard of such a stat. 16-4 against the spread. They're 15-2 straight up at home. They're 15-5 overall. Their last 20 games. New Mexico is really good too. 8-1 their last 9, but I'm getting a team that's won 15 of the last 17 at home and basically pick them. In fact, I'm not even pick. I'm getting 1.5. I'll take Colorado State to get the win against the Lobos.
Kansas, we brought it up. Kansas guys have not lost back-to-back opening conference games since 1990-91. It's been a while, right? They started 0-2 in conference play. They're hosting TCU tonight. sort of looking at a way to money line this thing, but it's minus 300, so you can't solo money line it. It becomes parlay material. I don't really want to mix it up with anything, so I'm going to bite the damn bullet. I just laid the 6.5 points with the Kansas Jayhawks.
Whoa.
And, they're calling Peterson out, too, a lot, right? The kid, is going to be the number 1 pick of the draft, number 2 pick in the draft, etc. He hasn't played that much. And so there was he got called out, basically, that, you know what, you don't really care. You're just sort of buying time here to get to the NBA. And Bill Self said, listen, this kid is hustling every day and training and, and rehabbing and trying to play, and he can't. And then he came back and they lost. I kind of get the feeling tonight there's a hell to pay that he goes off. Like, you know what I mean? I think Peterson goes off tonight. It's one of those games. The Kansas play real angry and beat up TCU tonight.
All right. Are you sitting down for this one, Gabe? Have you seen the Michigan score lately? 14 seconds, 15 seconds left. Michigan by 2.
Michigan are up by 2.
74-72. Wow.
Lendenborg didn't play tonight, so their leading scorer, Michigan, and he could have. So they sort of got into the load management type of stuff.
There.
So
he played.
So
well, maybe they reserved his minute. He only played 27 minutes tonight. Yeah.
So he didn't play 27 minutes when it was all said and done, right? So he didn't. Yeah, he didn't start. I don't think he started. So I'm surprised he played that many minutes.
Yeah. Penn State with a chance to upset undefeated Michigan. We'll let you know how it turns out when we come back.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. So undefeated Michigan survives 74-72. How about that?
Remains undefeated.
That's all it matters, right? Just win, baby. You weren't.
They would have got a push if you just took 1-2 off the number instead of 22. They won by 2. You take a 2 off.
You had a 20-point teaser out there somewhere on the board that you might be able to.
22 and a half point favorites, like. Yeah, I didn't think they. I don't know. Like the plan wasn't to play them like that much, so I was surprised to see 27 minutes in the end, and kind of struggled tonight as well. But I guess the game. Listen, they were up by 9 at the half. I laid the points in the first half, Scott. So like I was watching in the first half, and it was tight. They got up by they were up by 12 at one point late in the first half, and then it got to 9. So they went up at 4. It was 40-31 at the half. And then give credit to Penn State for balling. Penn State lost by 8 to Illinois on their home court. So it was a ton of points to lay, Scott. Obviously, it's stupid. But I also thought it was stupid 2 weeks ago that they were 17-point favorites against Villanova, and they beat them by 45. Right? Michigan literally, this is the first close game Michigan has played, all year, essentially. Which, you know what? You kind of need, Scott. It sucks if you bet on them, but, if you're a team and you win by 22 every night, you're not learning anything. Or, you win by 50 every night. So they were a little tested tonight. Good for them. They get the conference win, and they survive, and they move on.
Yeah. And Penn State's a little bit like Rutgers at the rack. Playing at the rack can be tough for visiting teams. Penn State, too. You always hear Penn State just beating some team, and they're always on the cusp. They made the NCAA tournament once or twice. Never great, but they're hard to beat on the road. I'll give them credit.
Yeah, they're
for
not
that.
terrible.
So,
no, they're a tough home team.
Yeah,
they're a tough. They're a tough home team.
Duke came back and won, down 9 at the half. Louisville scored 47 points in the first half, only 26 in the second half. 84-73.
They were 1 for 13 from 3 at one point, I saw. I was watching a game here, and I brought it up. It was during the break. They took 38 threes in the game, Louisville, and they only hit 12 of them. Right? So, that's Louisville live and die by the point blank. They literally take the most threes in the country. So, it's going to be hit or miss with them, and tonight it was miss. In the second half, they just fell apart. I wish I got in on the in-game over, and them falling apart hurt the total, but I did double up on Duke at least. Oklahoma State winning, Scott, but we're a little off the pace right now. It's 46-39 early in the second half. Need this to pick up. It's now 164.5 now.
Yeah, FanDuel's been a little stubborn. They're still at 166.5, but still that's a good 8 points, 9 points less than what the number was. So.
I'm on Oak State, but I got the over, so it's sort of okay. But we're not here for splits. The juice adds up. That's the problem. I want to hit some 2-0s here in these games.
Yeah, good start for Minnesota, Iowa. We were playing the under on that one. It's 40-33, 13 minutes left second half, and now it's all the way down to 122.5. So we're a good 10 points lower than what the number was to start the game. So that's looking halfway decent. Linwood has come back. They were down 6-7 against SIU Edwardsville. Now they're only down 1. What are you getting on that one?
Yeah, we got a 30. It's a pick 'em. Minus 115 money line. So Lindenwood, yeah. So that's not bad. They were down. Now they start to chip away. 35-34 at the half. And how about the Dayton George Washington game? As close as it can get. 38-37. Wow. 38-37. 17 minutes left in that basketball game. So it looks like it's going to be one of these sweat job specials tonight for these games. 9-9 TCU Kansas early. Texas A&M up 9-3 early on Auburn. And nice start for your under, actually, Scott. There's only been 3 points through 2 minutes of Texas Tech and Houston.
Yeah.
Texas Tech have hit a 3-point shot. That's it.
That's it. You give me a Houston game in the 140s, man. I don't care who they're playing. I will bet that all the time under. All the time.
And
how'd Miami of Ohio do, by the way? I think they were starting to pull away the last time I saw it. Did they win? Remain undefeated?
We'll get the final score.
But St. John's won by 14. Yeah, they did. 87.
Yeah, and I actually like Butler tonight. That game was close most of the game. The Johnnies pulled away. Yeah. I like Butler. My problem with this was I watched the St. John's Providence game, and you knew they were going to be frustrated after the Providence game tonight. Yeah. But yeah, the Red Hawks, 87-76. 87-76. They beat Western Michigan. So they improved to 16-0.
16-0.
Quite the story going on.
Yeah, do they have anybody else? They don't have any great non-conference wins. Old Dominion Air Force. Yeah, nothing. Do they have any sneaky out-of-conference game on their schedule left? No. It's all MAC stuff from here on out.
Yeah, but this isn't college football. They don't need to prove anything to anybody.
No, I just like to see them have a test, and like a real, like somehow or another, there's a some really good team left on their schedule.
I was sort of thinking the same thing, but let's look at the MAC, and Buffalo's a 13-2 basketball team. Kent State's an 11-3 team. Bowling Green's an 11-4 team. Akron's an 11-4 team. So let's see them get into conference play and play some of their contemporaries and their peers. The Buffalo Bulls are a good team as well.
Yeah. I have to watch one of their games. I've not seen them play Miami up, but
man, they should start putting them on TV a bit, right? They're 16-0. But that's the thing. We get locked into these deals. I was thinking about that too. It sucks. Like Michigan is a Fox team, Michigan basketball, for the most part. So, so you get all these SEC games, you get all the same teams all the time on TV, but like Michigan's always on FS1 or the Big Ten Network, right? It's frustrating. Like the networks matter. Look at college football and ESPN owning the rights to the college football playoffs and being the home of the SEC, and how like there's no gray area. They didn't even hide it. They don't even cover. Like every other conference sucked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the highlights. Oh, here's the SEC, and the loser Big Ten, and the loser ACC, etc. Like, it's a problem. Everybody's got a bias now, right? It's just you can't escape it. But it is what it is. But I want to bring up, Scott. There's a theme in basketball now in the Big Ten. These West Coast teams get murdered in the Midwest, bro.
Right.
I was wrong last night. USC lost by 30 again to Michigan State, and they're pretty good. UCLA are losing 22-9 to Wisconsin right now. Seems like these West Coast teams cannot travel to the Big Ten country and play.
And I'm surprised about that. I'll explain when we get back to Game Live.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and you may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got a Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, we were talking, Pac-10, 12 / Big Ten teams not doing well on the road, Gabe. Here's what's surprising to me about that is that conference, the old Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-12, they were going all over the place. It's not like they were all within.
Yeah, they were used to taking planes.
They were going, or they were going to Oregon. They were going down to Washington, to UCLA, LA for USC. I mean, so they're flying all over the place. So this is just, they're flying maybe further
and
east.
And the time zone,
but
it's earlier for them too, even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, we're playing in Wisconsin right now at 9 o'clock. It's like, whatever, guys. It's 6 o'clock for us. Like,
yeah.
Like what I don't understand though, Scott, is how the hell does like UCLA go on the road and win a football game, or like, USC's won in the snow and Oregon hasn't had a problem playing in bad weather, but the basketball teams have had such a hard time.
Yeah.
They really do. Let's just call it out for what it is. And it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Remember last year, Mick Cronin was crying about all the travel in the Big Ten and the statue. I've seen New York 3 times already, and Chicago and all this. It's like, well, bro, man up. You want to make money as a big-time coach. You're in a big-time conference. Newsflash, you got to travel, right?
Yeah.
So, but they're getting lit up. Like, it's 31-11 Wisconsin right now.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern here. So UCLA down by 20 already. Michigan beat USC by what? I don't know. It's hard to keep up. 42,
30,
whatever the hell it was, 34.
Some goofy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Michigan State beat them by 31 last night or whatever. And now you got UCLA. It's not like UCLA and USC are clown shows, guys, right? We're not talking about Alabama A&M here, but they're just get F the F up, Scott, when they go to the Midwest.
It's amazing. You're talking about, a sixth of the amount of players and personnel compared to football, and it's just not even competitive. That's why I didn't want to bet the
under. It's indoors. It's not like the weather.
Yeah.
Like, you can understand, like football. That's what I'm saying. Like weather, you can understand. Wow, it's freaking cold in Nebraska. What do you expect from them? Like, this is basketball. You're indoors. Like, what's so hard about this? You're indoors.
Yeah. And they're not flying Southwest Airlines JetBlue like you and I. They got charters.
I didn't know. They got private jets. Yeah, UCLA is not sitting on
yeah.
Southwest in the airport in the terminal right now. Oh, our plane's late. No. Like you said, like they travel like pros. Dude, Michigan, when Michigan played against UCLA and USC, we can't lie. It's funner for the Midwest teams. Like, how fun is it for to go to like Ann Arbor and East Lansing if you're these teams and stuff in the wintertime? Like Michigan set it up, Scott. They stayed at the Beverly Hills Hilton. And when they played USC and UCLA, they were in LA for like a 5-day span. They stayed at the Beverly Hills. The kids loved it. They went shopping in Beverly Hills. They practiced in Beverly Hills, and they played 2 games in LA, and they won them both. And these West Coast teams are like in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in some terminal somewhere. And they're like, where's East Lansing? Are we there yet? Like, they find out, no, it's not in Detroit. No, we got to fly to Detroit, but so now we got to take a bus for like an hour. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that type of stuff.
You're lucky we stopped at McDonald's on the way home. Or on the way there.
Scott, it's cold for them on the bus because they're from LA and it's dark. You know what I mean? I think it just depresses them. I think psychologically, Cronin hates it. I think the players just sort of think, I just want to get back to the West Coast. Like, just let's get in and out of here, and whatever happens, happens. And we'll beat them when we get back home.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, all right, Texas Tech 10-6 over Houston. 5.5 minutes in. Pretty good
nice
start there.
For the 8.5.
Yeah.
A nice start for the track meet, Scott, with Texas A&M and Auburn. I don't know if you jumped in on this one.
I did.
176.5 right now. So it closed to 168.5. Nice start, 2018 after 9 minutes.
You picked up. It's scary. The Auburn thing's scary because they played an overtime game last game, crazy game against, I think it was Georgia, I think it was. They won, but I just thought, how many times can you go to the well too often? But, they're already 38 points, and they're not even close to being halfway through the first half. So, you got to play overs in these SEC games. There isn't a team out there. Even Vandy, could score. Everybody could score in the SEC. The days of playing defense there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a track meet. It's a track meet. Look at the totals. Yeah. Texas, Tennessee. And think about it, guys. Texas and Tennessee are kind of known as 2 defensive-style teams. Their total right now is 153.5 in-game. Texas A&M, Auburn, SEC game, 175.5 in-game right now. Those are the 2 SEC. There's no other SEC. What happened with the Georgia-Florida game? They were playing earlier. I didn't see the final.
Yeah, Florida won. Florida won and covered. They won by 15.
They did, yeah. I thought they were going to pull away. Late 9.5.
92-77, I think it was. So,
TCU up by 3.
Mark?
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel at Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got a Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid, midway through hour number 2. Let's talk a little college football, a little NFL with a good buddy, Mark Zitto, SportsGrid host. You see it here all the time here on the Grid. So, Mark, what's going on, my friend? Big news. Let's start with the NFL if we can. We'll start with the John Harbaugh firing. Your thoughts on that before we go anywhere else?
I don't know if as much as a firing as a sort of, parting of ways. I think Harbaugh knew that he was going to have a way out if he wanted it at this point in time. And even though the reports are over that they wanted to move on from Todd Monken and Harbaugh didn't, Harbaugh's also known about the Giants opening for a while, and he knew that he had a shot if it was time for him to go, that there was a place that he could land very softly and securely going forward. So I don't know. I don't like using the word firing because I really don't think that's what it was. I think the Ravens and him knew that they were at a crossroads and that something had to change. And for him, this is time for him to move on. But the guy's going to get hired tomorrow if he wants to. I mean, it's that simple. So, and I always say
he can pick his spot.
Yeah, I always say
he can pick his spot.
Fire your coach. Like, if you're going to fire your coach and he's going to get hired by somebody else the very next day, should you really be firing your coach?
It's not crazy to say this out loud now that we've just seen this with Harbaugh because I didn't think it would happen. But I'm sort of with you, Mark. I think it was more amicable, more so like they sat down. They're not on the same page anymore. It's been 18 years, whatever the hell it's been. Like, I think it was just sort of okay. Like, and it happened fast, though. So a lot of emotion in the air still. But is it crazy that if the Packers get blown out Saturday night, Bears roll them, that Matt LaFleur gets fired, which is pretty crazy?
Well, I think that would be just asinine, ridiculous move by the Packers, but I also don't think that's
I know, but teams do asinine things. Teams do asinine things.
Okay, well, the Packers aren't losing, though, so I don't have to worry about this scenario manifesting.
I'm not a big Harbaugh fan. You know, to me, guys, you can't have it both ways. You got to pick which side you're on. You can't have it that Lamar Jackson is the greatest thing since sliced bread and John Harbaugh is a great head coach. You can't. Otherwise, they would have gone to 3 Super Bowls by now. They haven't gone.
Harbaugh is a better coach than Lamar quarterback.
I would
take his side.
Tend to agree
more than Lamar's side.
Look, I think the Harbaugh-Lamar relationship was strained and starting to get strained. I mean, you've seen it over and over again. Like these were two guys that just didn't look like they were on the same page. And when Lamar Jackson decides that on a Saturday, hey, I'm not playing tomorrow, like he did earlier in the year against the Bears, that I'm sure that didn't sit well with John Harbaugh and the people in the front office. Like, Lamar's calling the shots here, and that's something that is difficult for Harbaugh to deal with. Remember, this is a guy who walked into an organization and basically put the clamps on Ray Lewis when he was there. I was covering the team then, and one of the first things John Harbaugh did when he got to the organization was Ray Lewis used to have a corner 2 lockers to himself in the corner of the locker room. One of the first things he did was take a locker away from Ray Lewis. And he got immediate buy-in from Ray Lewis. And I don't know that he's getting that same level of buy-in from Lamar on all counts. And I think there's some chilling in that relationship.
Mark, sort of similar to the stories you hear from Pete Carroll in Seattle, right? Like with the Bobby Wagners and the guys that have been there for a while, the Rich Shermans at the time. They said, man, we've heard the same speech for the last 10 years, right? The guys they're like, oh, hey, here comes Pete's rah-rah bit again. If you're the same coach, the same message, same training camp all the time, people are going to start to tune you out, Mark. That's just the reality of life.
Well, and the reality is for guys who are successful and at the top of their field, they don't stray much from what made them successful, right? It's hard to create change when you're like, I've got so many points that prove that I can be successful. But John Harbaugh, what he said about the postseason is always correct, and I don't think people give it enough credence. It really, every game in the postseason theoretically is a coin flip. Like, it's really hard to predict success in the postseason. You have no idea who you're playing. You have no idea what the path is. There's no control over any of that. It's not like the regular season where I have 17 set games and I know who I'm playing 3 weeks down the road and I know how to prepare for all that stuff and I can look at it. You have no idea. And so there's a lot of variance, as you guys know, not only from a betting perspective, but just in general in the NFL postseason, because it's hard to figure out. I mean, look, I would say this. I think Sean McDermott's more likely to be on the outs if Buffalo doesn't get to the Super Bowl this year, given the fact that the AFC looks a lot easier. I think he's more likely to go than the floor would.
I'll disagree. I'm a Bills fan, and I'm not the biggest McDermott fan, but I don't think they'll fire him. I don't think they're sort of him and Bean. I think there's more frustration. I don't put it this way. Like I don't think the Pagulas are as frustrated as the WGR radio listeners are. Right. And that's what matters. What does Kim Pagula think?
Right.
And Kim Pagula is not a trigger happy owner. She runs it more than Terry, etc. That's why you say her.
From a business perspective, this is a team that's moving into a new stadium.
Boom. They already got what they wanted, Mark. The taxpayers built them a stadium, Mark. They already won their Super Bowl.
Change everything over at this juncture in this next year is very tough, right? Because
I would say if next year could be his last year, I think that's more than fair.
Yeah, I think.
And I want to stress, I'm not saying I would fire LaFleur if I was Green Bay, but I'm telling you that, right? I never thought Tomlin would get fired, but no one thought Harbaugh would get fired today. Stuff happens in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The message gets old. But it's the same thing with Buffalo. You can't tell me Josh Allen is the greatest thing in the world, and I think he is, and then say the head coach is great also when you haven't gotten there.
Well, the problem is McDermott's supposed to be a defensive guy. He has no impact on Josh Allen or the offense like his greatness. So, like, the one thing that you're there to do, you're not doing very well. Let's just call it. And we got a horrible match. I mean, Mark, I'm a Bills fan. I'm scared to death of the Jags. Like, it's a horrible matchup for Buffalo.
Well, look, I mean, here's my bet in the game. Jaguars team total over 26.5. And it's not because I don't want the Bills to win or think they can win.
Or you think the Bills could outscore them maybe in a track meet then, right? So you'll take the safe way.
Put it this way. If somebody has to stop the Jaguars from scoring 30 in order to beat them at this point. And if the Bills can do that, then guess what? They're going to win the game. But I don't see a world where the Jaguars win this thing 24-23 or 24-20. Like, that's not the game script that materializes here. You're seeing a total that's higher than every other game at 51.5. We're already going to push 52 in this game. So everybody thinks they're going to score. It's a bad Jags pass defense. It's a questionable Bills defense across the board. It's leaky even on good days. It's just a question of, can the Jags slow down Josh Allen, and can somehow the Bills be opportunistic enough to keep the Jaguars out of the end zone? And, you know, could it come down to a field goal by Cam Little from, 87 yards out? Maybe.
Well, that's a good point.
Maybe
you have a kicker who's the best kicker. No, I'm going to say the best kicker in the NFL history. I remember everything, Mark. I remember in the preseason, you said, it doesn't count. You got to give him credit now. Yeah,
No,
it does now.
Listen, after what I witnessed on Sunday night, I am 100% correct on kickers being humans on the planet. Okay,
but I will say, I don't even know what a Bills kicker is this week. Have the Bills signed someone today? They don't have a kicker. I think it might be. It might be the poor Atlanta Falcon. The guy that kicked dirt in Young Ho Koo.
Hit dirt there? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No.
Dude, I'm dead serious.
Doesn't anyone want to give Justin Tucker a shot? I can't help but think he's smiling somewhere after watching that game Monday night or Sunday night. Laughing.
He might be smiling, but his lawyer's telling him don't smile.
I mean, in a world of you're innocent until proven guilty, man, I don't get it.
It's funny.
I'll say this about.
I keep seeing John Gruden's name bandied about and all these open coaching. I'm like, guys, he's suing the NFL. He's not getting a job unless he drops the lawsuit. Like, none of the owners are going to hire the guy that's suing him. That makes no sense.
All right, they signed Badgley.
Michael Badgley.
I'm not kidding. The Buffalo Bills did not have a field goal kicker. They didn't have a kicker this morning. They just signed. So I was like, that had to be resolved by now. Prater's injured. So Tyler Bass is their kicker, and then Prater got hurt. So, Michael Badgley.
I mean, in reality, it's Josh Allen. Anything that's under 4th and 3, you're going for anyway.
Yeah.
Bears or Packers, real quickly. Who's winning?
All right, Prater returns.
Yeah. Bears win.
Mr. Badgley.
Appreciate it.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with all due respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel and Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp, and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll stay healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got a Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Thanks again, Mark Zinno. You see it here all the time here on the Grid. So, a couple little updates here as we check the board. Looks like Colorado's going to lose again. How about that? 2 in a row for this might be the first time all year they've lost 2 in a row.
Back to back.
Yeah, 4-2.
Nobody's invincible. Michigan wins by 2. Oklahoma City Thunder lose last night.
Yeah, I think Washington.
Colorado.
I think the Wizards won tonight too. They were leading big anyway, late.
Oilers up 1-0 after a period. I was going to say I was hoping for like a 3-0, but all right. We'll take it. Better than nothing.
Magic. Pacers
last
covered.
night. Remember last night we talked about it wasn't the biggest number, and I didn't see, but let me see. I saw something interesting I wanted to bring up on the show about this, about what we were talking about last night. All right, where is it? All right, the Nuggets plus 15. Pretty crazy last night. The Nuggets were also, Scott, I didn't realize they were that big of underdogs.
Yeah.
The Nuggets plus 15 wins outright at Philly. The Hornets plus 16 wins outright at Oklahoma City. Only the 6th time since 1991, the 2 underdogs of 13 plus or more points both won outright on the same night. And just the 2nd time since 1991, the 2 underdogs of plus 15 more points won on the same night.
How about that?
And the only other time it happened, Scott, was April 2nd, 2023. Portland plus 19.5 beat Minnesota. And San Antonio plus 16 beat Sacramento. But you and I brought up, we said, there's a lot more upsets now in the NBA than there used to be. 15-point underdogs didn't win in the old days, guys. Like Kobe would not take the pedal off the metal, or Jordan, or Ewing, or like it just didn't go. Like it's not the same. Like you were screwed. Like you were down by 19, you weren't coming back. The other team was showing up. There wasn't load management. Teams played their players. They played minutes. Like you know what I mean. Like you had to beat Sean Kemp and Gary Payton and stuff. It wasn't happening. Nowadays, these players are all flaky, and you got sort of like Philadelphia shouldn't be 15-point favorites against Temple, Scott. Like, who the hell are the Philadelphia 76ers this year?
That's why I like
And
Denver.
in hindsight, it's easy to say, and Denver doesn't have anybody, but you talk about it. Denver doesn't even have their best player, and they just won as a 15-point underdog.
Yeah. And they didn't even play Jamal Murray. And they played Gordon, and they played like nobody, and they still ended up winning. I mean, it's just... The NBA is so unpredictable. I would like to know if
don't play big money line parlays is the moral.
No,
There's the gambling 101 of this. Do not play big.
Yeah.
Don't think, there's no way in hell the Celtics don't win as 17-point favorites. Nah, they could lose. Like, it's possible.
Yeah. That's the one sport where I don't do that. Like, I do that in baseball with a good pitcher. I do that in football, certainly.
I don't trust it in hockey, Scott.
Not NBA.
For me, I know hockey well enough that Colorado's kind of an exception, bro. The NHL is wild, bro. Like, anyone could beat anybody.
Yeah. You get a lot of upsets in hockey, but especially the NBA. I'd like to know if there was a site that kept track of that. Money line, you put $10, $100, whatever, $1 on every single underdog money line for the beginning of the year. You know, where would you stand?
Yeah, I want to see. Well, I'll see right now with the NHL. Let's see what the NHL trend is. Yeah. What's the most profitable way of betting NHL hockey? Now, puck line is a little bit subjective when you see puck line numbers because it's -1.5, +1.5. So let's just go home, away, favorites, and etc. So favorites, Scott, 54.2% of the time. Home favorites, 55% of the time.
That's
pretty significant. But the thing is, this isn't. It's like baseball numbers, guys. So think about it, Scott. Yeah, it's 55%, but it's not a -110 bet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's So you're not automatically going to make money just betting like the favorites in the NHL. And in fact, like this sort of tells us, you could. Now, against the spread, so against the spread means like +1.5.
Yeah, the goal line.
So how about this,
I never
Scott?
understood why they always did that, but it's the goal line against the spread.
I know, exactly. They should do a better job of documenting hockey bets. Yeah. Just point blank. Like, they should do a better job of it. How about this, man? This is freaking wild. Away dogs getting +1.5 this year, Scott, have covered 69% of the time in the NHL.
Wow. Now that
proves my point, though, about you can't trust favorites. Like, it's not a lock. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you get such a big drop in laying a goal and a half. You know, like sometimes I look at that game and it's like minus 250. And
there's a lot of one-goal games in the NHL, man.
Minus 110 or something. That's why.
There's a lot of one-goal games in the NHL. Like, if you look at, like, a team's average, you know, we're running out of time. It's an interesting conversation. But if you look at a team's average, it's like even the good teams. Like, all right, they score 3.2 goals a game, but they give up 2.6. So it's not like, oh, yeah, like, how many teams actually have a winning margin besides, like, the Avalanche? Look at, like, the differential of goals teams in the NHL stuff.
Yeah.
The Avalanche are the exception. It's pretty freaking even with everybody. You know what I mean? And in fact, almost everybody in the Western Conference has a minus goal difference. It's wild.
Yeah. Like, look at the Pacific. Everyone in the Pacific Division has a minus goal differential.
Everybody.
Every single team.
So does that sound like the type of league that you're going to go, I want to bet a $5,000 money line parlay? Like, you know? No. That's our whole point. Like hockey, that's why for me, Scott, it's weird because there's levels. We all bet bigger money on football because we're all crazy. We all do it. I'll do it with basketball. Hockey, I'm smart enough to be like, you know what I mean? College basketball, but like hockey, I limit the units a bit. Just it's such a reactionary sport. Anything can happen.
Yeah. It's funny. Football's always the king. I'll put more on hockey than I will NBA, though. NBA is
you trust an NHL game more. Yeah, so you don't trust the NBA betting?
Yeah. Like, I'll trust Colorado.
Like in the playoffs, I will significant and stuff. Like hockey, I don't. That's why I left the Avalanche on the table, and it kind of bothers me. Right? I mean, now they're up to 4 losses only, but like, really, I should have just been riding this freaking wave with the Avs. But I always thought, they can't keep this up.
Yeah. Their numbers are crazy, though. Although today was pick 'em, basically. Minus 115, minus 110, depending on where you did your shopping. So, yeah, they might be coming back down to earth a little bit.
And Tampa's good. Tampa's good team.
Tampa's good. Yeah, Tampa's won 8 in a row now. So, they weren't playing no slouch tonight. But it's one of those.
Tampa was my pick to win Eastern Conference before the year started. Colorado. This is actually my Stanley Cup preview. Tampa, Colorado.
Yeah. I was closed up shop thinking one last word to that.
Let's play a little buy or sell. I think it's pretty evident that despite being one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL, Travis Kelce's play and physicality and everything, with respect, took a big step back. This was easily his worst physical season of all. He just didn't look like himself. Travis Kelce will retire after the season. Buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm probably 60-40 on this that he retires. The only thing I'd say that maybe he returns is because he doesn't want to end the way it ended, not making the playoffs and that sort of thing. But let's just say for Gabriel and Mahomes, he isn't going to be ready for September or October. And unless they get a really good veteran quarterback, maybe he doesn't want to deal with that either. Go through a training camp and he may not make the playoffs either next year. So I'm probably 60-40. I think he's done. Too bad. Hall of Fame career. I guess good luck with Travis Swift and your podcast with Jason.
I'm buying this. Andy Reid addressing this question this week. Why? He could have just deferred and said, I don't know, we'll see. Fully answered the question about this maybe being his last game. What does that tell you? He knows. Everybody knows. I'm not 60-40, 90-10. I'm on buy. Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams. You'd rather have Nix over Caleb Williams in a dynasty league.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Caleb here, mainly because he has more running ability than Nix. I think he'll also say healthier than Nix. I might like his receivers more as well. He's got Dunze. He's got you got DJ Moore. You got the good tight ends here. Probably do lean towards Williams here. Not by a hell of a lot. It wouldn't be an easiest choice here, but I'm going to go with Caleb Williams here.
I would agree. It's not that I think that Ben Johnson is a better coach than Sean Payton. I think Ben Johnson is better for Caleb Williams than Sean Payton will be for Bo Nix. I think running is going to be a big part of what Denver does in the future. So there you go. I'll sell.
Fantasy Sports Today. Friday starting at 3 p.m. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Closing up shop here, just taking a peek at some of these college basketball scores. Everything's kind of going. They need some help with the Colorado State. The Rams are down 9 at the half against New Mexico. UCLA's made a little bit of a comeback, down 14. Over-under is 155.5. I stayed away from
I'm going to
that
bet
one.
that. I'm going to bet the over of the UCLA-Wisconsin game. Listen, UCLA were down like 32-11. They had a hot end to the half. I think it'll continue. They're getting 12.5 right now, so UCLA are good. We talked about sort of getting ambushed early there. We gave you guys George Washington, the Dayton game. We said George Washington haven't won there since 2005. Dayton are starting to pull away right now, up by 8 with 3 minutes left.
Mm-hmm. My degenerate special, which really isn't that much of a degenerate special, but it's the last game on the board, UNLV and Wyoming. I'm going to grab UNLV. You're getting 4.5. They're 5-1 straight up and against the spread against Wyoming. So I'll take my chances, getting 4.5. Over-under is 154.5. I'll stay away from that, but I would side with the under a little bit. UNLV's on a nice little 5-0 under run. Series is 4-1 under, but I'll take the running Rebels to keep this close, plus the 4.5 as my DGN special for this Tuesday night.
Should be a fun game. I'll track that game in game. I got some more picks too. Like we said, kind of a bonus game tonight, guys. 11:10 Eastern time start tonight. So you even have like an hour in between here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get something to eat here, and I'm going to watch the Dallas Mavericks play the Sacramento Kings because I'm a DJ, and I look forward to betting on this game. So give me the Mavericks. It went down to 4.5. I see 5 again, so it seems to be floating around. I'm going to lay the 5 with the Mavericks. I'm going to go under the 232. And let's go with Max Christie over 12.5 points scored. He's got over this number in 4 of the Mavericks' 5 last games.
All right. Hockey, what do we got? Boston and Seattle squaring off, and Columbus and San Jose. Still no love for San Jose. I will say they're getting plus 115 at home against Columbus, who played a little better of late. I'll grant you that. But you know what? I can get odds at home. They're a pretty good home team. 6-1 over at home to San Jose. Columbus has beaten 5 of the last 6, but I will take San Jose plus the 115, 116 on FanDuel at home to get the home victory against Columbus.
Yeah, I like San Jose tonight. They're playing pretty good hockey right now. They're a streaky team, San Jose. They're a young team. So, they're going to win 3, lose 3, get hot. You think, oh, wow, this team's really good, and they're going to lose 6 in a row or whatnot. It's sort of one of those type of deals, but they're coming off a 7-3 loss to Tampa. Yeah, Tampa is scorching hot right now. They were on a 3-game win streak before that. I'm going to go over. If you look, they're on a nice overrun right now, San Jose, guys. 8-1-1 to the over in their last 10 games. There should be goals in this game, but I'm going to play the first period over 1.5, and I'll take the San Jose Sharks as well. And the Bruins and the Kraken, Scott, I kind of like the Kraken, but the Bruins are one of those teams for me that I seem to be on the wrong side of their games often. If I bet against them, they win. If I bet on them, they lose. And you got Seattle coming off a back-to-back, so I'm going to pass. I'll take this one in-game approach as well.
That's the one that's got written all over. That line now is Seattle getting plus 108. They're 7-1. Their last 8 at home. Bruins game 5 of a long 5-game road trip. They did win their last 2.
So they played Saturday in Vancouver, Scott. Vancouver, Seattle, really close. So they've been rested, right? I mean, they haven't played since Saturday, the Bruins. So that's something, it could backfire on them. They've been off since Saturday night. It is Tuesday right now. Yeah. You got the Kraken are red hot. They're coming home. You know what I mean? They're ready to keep rolling and get back in the playoffs.
How about a Poly Market special before we go? Will Maduro mugshot be released January 16th or earlier? Yes. Is risk 100 to win 716. I mean, you talk about rigging these markets and knowing when everything is going to be done. His mugshot's not going to be released over the next 2 weeks.
That's a week and a half. Right? Yeah, we got a week and a half or 2 weeks. He said, I'm going to say yes. Let's jump in yes on that.
7-1.
Dude, they already paraded them through the streets of New York in the back of a truck. Yeah, exactly. Like a mugshot. I'm surprised they haven't already. Yeah. Yes, I'll bet yes.
I mean, 7-1 on that. if it happens like June 16th, 10 minutes before closing, then someone knew something. But why not? It's at 7-1. Jeez. Yeah, that like I said, that's
yeah,
nothing.
good eye. I would say yes on that.
Yeah, right. So, all right, you gave it. I'll be back to tomorrow night. A little precursor. We got college football Thursday and Friday. NFL over the weekend. But it'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow night right here on the Grid.